Great day. Great day. All right, great day. Here's another edition of Get Your It Together. Today's date is the 6th of March. So we're marching right along, getting right close to the spring. Actually, we're in springtime, to be honest. It's starting. So I am your host, Avok, a voice of consciousness, here with another edition of Get Your It Together 2.1. And we're going to speak to what is trauma. What is the ritualized trauma? Ritualized trauma. So we did part 1, this is part 2, ritualized trauma. If you don't know what rituals are, and you don't know what trauma is, and I'm sure you do because we all have experienced as well as have our own personal traumas that we go through and we have been going through, and as a result of experiencing colonialism and all of the abundant lies that have been told about melanated people, melanated dominant melanated people. I have to add that because there's a reason for the trauma, and it's because melanated people dominate, whereas dominant melanated people dominate, whereas melanated people that are of a recessive, that is of a recessive ilk, they have issues, and those issues have been projected onto the society as a whole, and not only just the society of our great Americas, but the society globally. So globally, there's this incessant virus, this incessant cancer that has spread throughout the globe. Excuse me. And it is from, or projected from, those who have insecurities about not having major dominant melanin. And so I'm saying this because we are divine beings and everything is divine. All that is divine. So everything is divinity, but there's different levels of divinity. There's different levels of conscious and awareness within the self. There's different levels of experiences to relate to these aspects of your conscious self. So the trauma that's been introduced and reintroduced and over and over and over, ritualized, because let's face it, in order for something to stick, in order for something to be pervasive, there is a formula that has been maintained to make sure that it is a part of the DNA, that it's a part of your life's blood, so to speak, if you will. And so, and it's through trauma on every possible level. Why? Because melanin dominant beings are spiritual, organically spiritual in nature. So in order for something to stick, because melanin actually melanin, besides giving you pigmentation, it's an adhesive, it's a bonding alchemical process that goes on that fuses and connects the consciousness, the emotions, everything that is needed to function in this avatar, if you will, melanin is the primary process by which everything happens through this avatar, if you will. And I say avatar because we are energy, frequency, and vibration, period. Point blank, end of story. Now, it's difficult to relate if you think you are flesh and blood. If you think the only thing that you are is of a material, be it an atom, be it skin, bones, whatever. If you think that that's the course or the sole aspect of your lineage and of your um, presence, and once it's gone, that's gone, thinking of death, so to speak. Well, energy, frequency, and vibration. Energy cannot be destroyed, nor can it be created. The only thing that it can do or will do is transform. You can transfer energy. Energy can be transformed into another shape shift into a whole another something, anything other than what you already are. You have that ability. That is that uh, very real possibility that is and has been throughout time. If there ever is a time, there's always been transformations or transforming through some process. And energy, frequency, and vibration, everything vibrates, everything is energy, everything moves, even if it just looks like it's sitting still. So why am I saying this? Well, the whole purpose behind psychologically doing what is called giving you all these different rituals or the different ways to lock you into a frame of thought, a way of thinking, a way of doing, a way of being, which is through ritual, because the melanin allows and will facilitate the adhesiveness to this structured idea, because all of this stuff is ideas. None of this stuff actually really exists. What happens is we generate energy around a thought, and as it's been done, project it, and what's fed back to us is an experience. In other words, everything that's within you is reflected back to you in terms of an experience. So if you're having issues with confidence, you'll be put in situations to reflect opportunities for you to show that you're confident. If you are fearful of something, whatever it might be, because that's in the uppermost parts of your mind, because that's streamed through you on a regular basis because of your memory to something that happened or whatever the case may be that generates thoughts around something that you're fearful of, you get more of it. And you get more of it as a result of you either having to overcome that fear, or it shows you how much work you need to do in that area to eliminate the fear. So everything is divine. Again, once again, I say that you're a divine being, I'm a divine, everything is divine. All that is divine. All that is being all there is to be, to show, or to express itself through its divinity. There is no the sanctity of the sanctity of your presence is in knowing that you cannot fail. Fail is a term that's been given, that's been shared, that's been projected, and then giving you the meaning of it and saying this is what it is, and if you don't do this, or you have to have goals, And so if you don't reach that goal, you failed. Well, not at all. There is no, let me say this, divinity is a self, as a fail-safe, has fail-safe protocols. You cannot fail. They bailed out various banks or financial institutions, um, and stated and did movies and documentaries and stuff about too big to fail. Well, you're too big to fail. That's why this elaborate scheme to keep you suppressed or keep you depressed or repress all of what it is in you, this has been done to keep it from expanding out of you. Because as it expands, it's going to touch and it's going to fuel. And so it's important that you stay docile or stay in your place or be in this place or space that does not allow for the expansive aspect of you to proliferate. So, um, and in order to do that, and since you are a ritual. Let me just say this: you are a ritual in the fact that you are consistently present. You are consistently doing basic things. Not necessarily basic. These are actually um, magnificent things. That there's miracles every day. The breath, the breathing, the processing, the movement. We take a lot of stuff for granted. We do things subconsciously that we don't even think about because it's subconscious. It's not something we have to think about. It's automatic. Well, your presence is a miracle and it's automatic. Everything that you are is divine. What I am is divinity in motion. Who I am, what I am is divine. Who I am is divinity in motion. No, who I am is divine. What I am is divinity in motion. So the who is the all that is divinity. The what you are being at this time, at this specific particular dispensation of time, what you are being, what you are doing. Let me see. Let me get it right. I said it before and I said it again. What I am, who I am is divine. What I am is divinity in motion. So the who speaks to the all that you are. The what speaks to what you are being or what you are doing or what is happening with you in this space of time. Not that's what you are. Not that's what you are. Not, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a that. No. That's what you're doing. So being a frequency, being a energetic shaman and a frequency minister is what I'm doing and it's what I do. I've got certifications for it, but that's not who I am. So who I am is divine. What I am is divinity in motion, and divinity takes on any form it chooses, takes on any particular role, if you will. This is a role. We play the role. It's a stage. Life is a stage, and the roles that you take on is part and parcel to the experiences to bring back to the all that is. Because the all that is experiencing itself through you as source. So the source of all sources is experiencing itself through you, me, we as one with source. Everything is, there's nothing separate. Everything is connected. How is everything connected? If you're thinking, you're disconnected. Well, your thoughts are not in control. However, they can influence, they do influence. And so with the rituals and how the trauma sets in, is the rituals are such that they tend to get you away from your center, get you away from what you know. But your memory is you don't remember. So because you've forgotten, and part of why you've forgotten, let's go back. See, because this the name of this show is Get Your It Together. So in order to 2.1. So in order for you to know what stuff you got to get together, you got to know some of the things that ain't nobody really talking about. And for those who are talking about it, that's what they're supposed to do. And for those who are talking around it, that's what they supposed. There's nothing wrong with anything anyone's doing. Let's just be clear on that, because all is divine and all is being processed so that the all that is has the experience of being all there is, because everything is. There's nothing that's not. So we have to concern ourselves with the things. So a part of why we don't remember, a part of it, because we're going to get into a cycle. Well, we're in a cycle, but the cycle is going to move in such a way that's going to bring about the memory without having to be connected to the physical. See, we're always connected, but the memory is going to be replayed, or the memory of who we are and what we are. Again, who I am is divine, what I am is divinity in motion. So the cycle is going to, as cycles do, is going to go back to the process by which we have our full memory of self, and we'll have our full powers, and we'll have all of that, all of the acumen that goes with being the all that you are, which is source. In this avatar, you're going to be, you're source. You are source. Think about it. 16 trillion cells, all of them breathe and eat and defecate and have sex and multiply. So everything is everything. However, because of dignity, integrity, and all of the sacred aspects that goes with truth and knowing, the cycle has to go back, or will come back around to the fullness, knowing the fullness of self. So a part of the memory loss was aided and abetted or facilitated with the cutting of the umbilical cord. Because the umbilical cord is the connection not only to the source, which was the womb, because we're still in the womb, universally, we're still in the womb. Okay? That's why a lot of people have not matured, and it's a childish aspect that's in our society. Everything is geared towards children, or geared towards the idea of enjoyment, fantasy, having fun, And that's fine. Nothing's wrong with none of it. It's just a question of how it's used. It's a question of how you use it. It's a question of what your mindset is, the intention by which you're employing that which is in the world, that which is outside of you. Because none of this outside of you is more than you. The money, the cars, the homes, the lavish trips, none of that, jets, anything, nothing is more than you. Nothing is beyond you. Now, if you think it is, then it is. If you um, are not comfortable with what I'm saying, then it's not for you. What I'm saying is really for me. It's a reminder to me. But the umbilical cord being cut is a type of a ritual that cuts the memory. The umbilical cord is supposed to dry up and fall off. And as it is connected, all of what you are is fed, all the nutrients and nourishment that you've been getting physically, you also get spiritually through the connection. That's why you feel your mom, you feel thoughts you have, and so all of that helps to heighten. That's why if children are breastfed till they 2 or 3 or 4, whatever, they're sharp as a whip. Because again, this is data, this is information, it's a physical thing, but everything carries energy, frequency, and vibration. And what is that? Data. Everything is data, it's information. And it's information to the nth level, which fuels and feeds, nourishes, replenishes you energy, frequency, and vibration. This is a part of this is what you are. You, me, we as one with source. This is what we are. We have this ability, uncanny ability. If you're trying to measure it by physicality, by what I see, let me put a finger on that, and you can't move that unless you do this. That's not you. There is no, but back to the fact that the ritualized trauma, the rituals are set up to keep you from yourself. Everything is set to, if you're going by everything outside of you, is set up to defeat you. And it's a losing battle, first and foremost, because nothing, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Nothing. That's a fact because of who you are. Energy can never be destroyed, nor has it ever been created. So there's no, the Big Bang didn't exist. They say it does. Well, there's a spark. Okay. But before that spark there, it was somewhere else. Nothing ever, 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 ever stops. We talking about infinity. We talking about infinite, a process that is infinite. So we must know that. And so I've decided that instead of doing a live, I'm going to do a live, but I'm going to do a live and I'll advertise and send out stuff for folks to know, but I'll be interviewing live. I'm not going to really do live by myself. I can do this, what I'm doing, and do that. And so It'll be 10 a.m. Saturday mornings, but only when I have a guest. Only when I have someone I can speak to, share the space with. Because me just getting up going live is not necessarily, I mean, I can do what I'm doing just the way I'm doing it and move forward from that. Um, so let's just be clear on that. And I'm going to cut this short and allow us to move on from here. Let me see here where we are. Yeah, that's good enough. That's good enough. So, once again, love family, it's an honor and it's always a pleasure. This has been your host, Avok, a voice of consciousness, sharing once again Ritualized Trauma Part 2. We're going to do a Part 3. Peace.